guys, Jamie Cotton here from Jamie Cotton Bespoke Estate Agency Services. Today I find myself on Foster Street, just off Stourbridge High Street. What a lot of people maybe don't understand or appreciate that is with any property transaction there are a lot of people in the background doing various different things, whether that be your estate agent, solicitor / conveyancer, surveyor, gas engineer, electrician, just to name a few. Today we're going to be speaking to James Sutton, who is the owner and managing director of Infinity Financial Advice, about what's been going on with the residential mortgage market over the last 18 months and how they are positioned to potentially help you get where you need to be. So let's go and have a chat with him. Hey guys, as I said outside, we're here today with James Sutton, managing director of Infinity Financial Advice. For those of you out there that haven't had the pleasure like I have to know James for so long, James, tell us a little bit about you and what it is you do here.
Perfect. So thanks for inviting me on, Jamie. So Infinity Financial Advice, we're a practice based in Stourbridge, just on the High Street next to Barclays Bank if you need to find us. With regards to Infinity, so we look at the whole of your financial needs, so be it your mortgage, your insurances, life insurances, critical illness, that kind of stuff. We can also look at pensions investments for you as well. Personally, I've been an advisor since 2006, so plenty of experience, and Infinity Finance Advice has been running since 2013, and we help thousands and thousands of customers every single year with their financial needs.
In a nutshell.
There we go.
So, if I were looking for a mortgage tomorrow,
okay,
why do you feel that Infinity Financial Advice as a whole of market mortgage provider would be potentially best suited or better suited than maybe my own bank or building society?
Okay, cool. So for me and my opinion on things is that speaking to somebody who is whole of market is a better outcome, be it if you come to Infinity or anyone else, than going to a bank or building society, purely because of the key word is flexibility. Everybody's got different circumstances, they've got different needs, different lending criteria and different requirements out of the mortgage that they need and different houses that they buy. If you go directly to a bank or building society, quite often you're pigeonholed a little bit, so you're within their rigid lending criteria which you may or may not meet, and you've got their product range that's available on that particular day which may or may not be good. And you've got the home that you're buying, and not all lenders lend on all properties. And on top of that as well, you've got the flexibility of the opportunity to go and see your bank or building society. With somebody, a firm like ours, obviously you have the flexibility of seeing them during work hours as well as outside of work hours and also at weekends. And sometimes the accessibility to those kind of more flexible arrangements aren't available on the high street with the lenders, which is why a lot of people come to speak to people like us.
Well, it makes perfect sense. I mean, mortgage products is probably one of the biggest things you'll buy in your life, so definitely well worth the time to come and see you and take that time to do your diligence and shop around. It's been a weird 18 months in the property market, whether that's residential, commercial, or anything in that nature. What's your experience at Infinity been over the last 18 months with lending as a whole?
Okay, so it's definitely been an up and down 18 months. We obviously had the pandemic hit in the spring last year, which meant there was a huge pressures on banks and building societies, which caused lending criteria to change hugely, and made in the initial months of COVID to make it much more difficult to get a mortgage. Banks had various pressures. There was the economic uncertainty of what would follow the pandemic hitting, and then there was logistical problems as well with banks and building societies trying to move all their processes and call centres and whatnot from big offices to home-based working. So as a result of both of those things coming together, banks and building societies really almost like didn't want to lend for a variety of reasons. Number one, they were worried about the market, and number two, they kind of had a capacity issue. So to try and turn things off, they made it more difficult to get mortgages from a lending criteria perspective. They made it more difficult to get mortgages because they increased the deposit requirements needed. And then they almost kind of tried to put you off going to them for a mortgage by putting up interest rates as well. So that's kind of what happened in the spring and through last year. As banks and building societies started to sort themselves out logistically and more confidence returned in the economy, especially this year as well, all those things have started to ease up. So, you know, lots of banks and building societies now are removing those restrictions around lending criteria. We've got mortgages now available all the way back up to 95% loan to value, which is a massive help for first-time buyers. And then overall, interest rates have kind of been falling through the year across all loan to values, be it with a 5% deposit, a 10%, or even down in the lower loan to values. And we're seeing some crazy low interest rates at the moment.
No, it's historic lows, and as you say, we're all really fortunate that's easing back up and opening back up. I think first-time buyers in particular are definitely going to benefit from that lower loan to value with the 95% government back scheme as well, which is great for you guys. But moving first-time buyers to one side, if I already have a mortgage, are you still able to help me, or?
Yeah, 100%. Mortgages are such a personal thing, and so is advice. My recommendation to anybody would always go to, especially when you find your advisor for the first time, is to go and see a couple of people and just really find who you feel comfortable with and who you trust, and find the person who you really think, these guys get me and understand my needs and my requirements, and I trust that they're always going to be able to deliver that. And so I would always recommend speaking to a couple of people. Even if you've got something in place, you've got your agreement in principle, that's brilliant. You know you can go shopping for a house, but as part of shopping for a house, I'd probably recommend also go out shopping for the mortgage advisor as well, to make sure you've got the right guy or girl who's going to deliver what you need through this really important process.
Definitely take the time, isn't it? It's about getting yourself ready and getting yourself in that best position for the long run, not just for the purchase.
100%.
Right, guys, well, I'm going to be putting James's contact details and Infinity Financial contact details on the bottom of this post. If you've got any questions, even if it's just advisory and you're not quite ready yet, definitely pick up the phone, reach out. As you say, it's a long process. It's not something that just happens overnight. But listen, really appreciate your time today, James.
No problem
Thank you so
at all.
much for the advice.
Cheers, Jamie. All the best.
Cheers.